Alright guys, so today we are going to be covering some big news. 75, so I saw this news on TikTok and I had to cover it on this channel. Basically what happened was there was an altercation at a Tim Hortons coffee shop, I assume, where a teen or some sort of a young person versus an old woman were fighting each other. It was more of like an altercation, and then the old woman died after the altercation. And then there's like heavy debate whether, the 75-year-old really like interrogated, or not interrogated, but like tried to start something, or there was debate whether, the coffee person killed a 70-year-old woman for no reason at all. So we're going to check out this video from Dr. Dr. Grande. It said it happened in Indiana, so I guess that's wild.
Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Anita Grayson. First I'll look at the timeline of the incident, then move to my analysis. On May 13, 2026, at 8:09 a.m., a 75-year-old woman named Anita Grayson entered the Tim Hortons restaurant at 3975 Ice Way in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She was captured on video surveillance in the restaurant, but no audio
I don't know what Tim Hortons does. Is it just like a coffee place?
was recorded. Anita's intent was to address an issue with an order she just received at the drive-thru. Not long after entering, she moved to the edge of a counter and engaged a 17-year-old female employee in a conversation. The employee remained behind the counter. A swinging half door separated Anita from the employee. The conversation became heated. The employee could be seen using both her hands, pointing toward the restaurant exit. During the conversation, Anita could be seen pointing with her right hand in the direction of the employee.
Which so far, not crazy shit has happened. Yeah, she's pointing at him, but it hasn't gotten physical yet, so
Anita
so far so good.
Rated the 17-year-old employee. A 20-year-old shift lead intervened and stepped between Anita
and then once he stepped in, that's when all hell broke loose.
and the 17-year-old employee. I will refer to the shift lead as Jane Doe. Jane Doe repeatedly told Anita to leave the restaurant and pointed toward the exit, but Anita continued to argue. It appeared as though Anita attempted to move around Jane Doe to reach the 17-year-old employee.
Yeah. First of all, doing that to a child employee is kind of pathetic, not gonna lie. No matter how old you are, this is still like pathetic behavior.
Jane Doe moved to stay in between them and could be seen putting her right hand on Anita's upper torso, as if to prevent Anita from approaching the 17-year-old employee.
And I think that's when all hell broke loose.
Anita pushed Jane Doe back using both hands, but mostly with her right hand. At this point, Jane Doe stepped toward Anita, pushing the half door open in the process. Jane Doe's face was very close to Anita's face. With her right hand, Anita shoved Jane Doe back
Oh shit, I didn't see that part.
by the face.
Dude, if that woman wasn't dead, then that would literally be assault. If that woman wasn't freaking dead, then that would literally be assault.
At this point, Jane Doe moved forward and launched what appeared to be a slapping attack. Anita moved back as she kind of wrestled with Jane Doe. Anita knocked Jane Doe's glasses off her face.
Yeah, as I used to work customer service too, and what I can say is, a lot of these people some customers have to be like the most entitled people on planet Earth. It's mostly the old people who are very entitled. Like I haven't had running issues with like an adult or like a child of some sort, but it's the old people who I have the most problems with. They always seem so bitter and just a jerk to me. Like, chill.
And scratched her face. After this, Anita grabbed Jane Doe's hair with her left hand and fell backward to the floor, dragging Jane Doe to the floor with her. Anita rolled on top of Jane Doe, and the women continued to fight on the floor.
They're both women?
Jane Doe tried to free her hair from Anita's hand by swatting at her arm. With the assistance of two employees who intervened, Jane Doe was eventually able to.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like you should have kept your cool, buddy. I know old people are entitled. I know customers sometimes could be little shits, but like, you gotta keep your cool, man. Like, this is, like, brutal. Like, I want to be on your side, but like, I can't really fully take your side. I'm not fully on this woman's side either. This woman started it all, but like, my gosh.
Away from Anita and stood up. As Jane Doe and the employees moved back behind the counter, Anita could be seen dropping the chunk of hair that she had just pulled out of Jane Doe's head.
Oh my gosh.
A few seconds later, Anita made it to her feet and immediately sat down at a table. She started talking on her cell phone. The police did not release any video surveillance past this point. At 8:13 a.m., someone contacted the police and reported an altercation. At some point, Anita reached down and picked up Jane Doe's hair from the floor and placed it into her bag. It's not clear what she was thinking here. Maybe
She probably wanted to keep that as a souvenir for, hey, I just wrestled this, young man. I still got it.
she did not want to leave evidence behind, or maybe this was a trophy of her accomplishment.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
In a video clip that was sent to one of Anita's family members, Anita can be seen walking around. This appears to be after the altercation. So, after she was on the floor, she sat at the table, and then she was able to walk around a little bit. At 8:22 a.m., 13 minutes after entering the restaurant, Anita laid down on the floor. Jane Doe noticed this and went to check on her, bringing her a cup of water. Another employee also checked on Anita. At 8:26 a.m., the police arrived on the scene and found Anita Grayson unresponsive. At 8:28 a.m., paramedics arrived at the restaurant and started life-saving measures. Anita was transported to a hospital where she was later pronounced dead. The Allen
She had a heart attack while this happened,
County
though.
Coroner's Office said that the preliminary findings noted no significant contributory injuries. The police conducted an investigation and sent the file to the Allen County Prosecutor's Office, who will decide if charges are to be filed. Some people in the community have staged protests, believing that justice has not been done in this case. Anita Grayson's eldest
Say his name?
daughter said that she wanted the employees who fought with her mother to be put in a cage
My goodness.
and referred to them as animals. She also said that Anita had congestive heart failure and was wearing a heart monitor just a week before the altercation. Anita's family has
Yeah, this is
well-known
bad.
attorney Ben Crump, who has been involved in many high-profile cases like George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, and Michael Brown. At the time I'm making this video, the cause and manner of Anita's death are pending, and no charges have been filed against anyone. Now moving to my analysis. There has been outrage over the death of Anita Grayson, with some people expressing their opinion that charges should be filed in this case. Their primary focus appears to be on Jane Doe, the shift lead who intervened to protect the 17-year-old employee from Anita Grayson. Based on the tone of the statement released by the police and their failure to charge anyone, it would appear as though the state of Indiana disagrees. The police warned that a dangerously false narrative led to significant public concern and misinformation. This makes it
Yikes.
seem like they don't really believe that there should be significant public concern. One can reasonably infer that investigators do not believe Anita Grayson was the victim of a crime. This brings me to the question: did Jane Doe commit any type of crime against Anita Grayson?
I feel like to an extent, but I feel like she instigated this whole, fight fiasco. I feel like they would, if she wasn't dead, I feel like they would both be, held responsible.
During the incident. Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she is guilty, starting with the inculpatory factors. When looking at the video surveillance, the first clear indication that physical contact was made was when Jane Doe put her right hand on Anita's upper torso. Anita responded by pushing Jane Doe's face. Maybe Anita was simply responding to the contact that Jane Doe initiated.
That could be the
It
case.
seems clear that Jane Doe was trying to protect the 17-year-old employee. However, it was not necessary for Jane Doe to exit the area behind the counter and engage Anita to achieve this goal. Jane Doe could have remained behind the counter or even retreated. Anita did not enter the area behind the counter at any point during the confrontation. Instead, Jane Doe closed the distance to Anita and launched some type of slapping attack. It's possible that Anita felt threatened by this, which is why she knocked Jane Doe's glasses off her face, scratched her face, and grabbed her hair. When Anita fell backward and dragged Jane Doe to the floor, this may have been accidental, or she may have believed she was defending herself. Jane Doe was 55 years younger than Anita Grayson.
Yeah.
A reasonable person would understand that a physical fight with a 75-year-old woman creates a heightened risk of serious injury, even if that woman initiated the confrontation.
It also doesn't look good.
Now moving to the exculpatory factors. During the heated conversation prior to any physical contact, Jane Doe directed Anita Grayson to exit the Tim Hortons restaurant. Instead of leaving, Anita remained there and continued to argue. As I mentioned, it appeared as though Jane Doe initiated the physical contact. However, one could make a good argument that it was actually Anita Grayson. Her body is blocking the camera view, but in the video, it looks like Anita may have reached around Jane Doe with her right hand and made contact or attempted to make contact with the 17-year-old employee. Even if Anita did not make physical contact first, and it was Jane Doe, one can make a good argument that Jane Doe was acting in self-defense of the 17-year-old employee. After all, the police stated that Anita was berating the 17-year-old.
Yeah,
When
so that
Jane Doe put her right hand on Anita's upper torso, the force was not excessive. She was simply trying to keep distance between
what I was about to say, yeah, that probably would have caused her, to just get out of the counter and just not beat the living heck, but
Anita
go at
and
it.
the other employee. When Anita pushed Jane Doe's face, this was excessive force. Anita started this fight. She provoked Jane Doe into a physical confrontation. Jane Doe launched a haphazard slapping attack as a result of the provocation. Anita could have retreated and disengaged, but instead she grabbed Jane Doe's hair and fell to the floor. While on the floor, Anita would not let go of the hair and eventually ripped a chunk of hair out of Jane Doe's head.
Ouch.
Arguably, this was an extension of the aggression that Anita had already displayed. Anita was not a helpless victim. She was actively prolonging the confrontation. Once Jane Doe escaped, she did not re-engage with Anita. Rather, she retreated. This was the end of the fight. If Jane Doe had any intent to harm Anita Grayson, she would not have retreated. She only used the force necessary to escape. After the altercation ended, Anita made it back to her feet and even walked around a bit. A few minutes later,
She was wobbly, though.
and became unresponsive. The preliminary report from the coroner did not find any contributory injuries on Anita. It's not like there was some clear damage to Anita that led to her death. Perhaps she died from a medical event that was not legally caused by the physical force used during the altercation. Or the altercation may have led to her death, but it was not anyone's fault except Anita's. Again, she was the aggressor. She provoked the confrontation. If Anita had a heart condition, she knew or should have known that attacking someone was a bad idea. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Jane Doe committed any type of crime against Anita Grayson during the incident in the Tim Hortons restaurant? In my opinion, no. Jane Doe defended herself and the 17-year-old employee from Anita Grayson. Anita was the aggressor in this case. Whether Anita's death was caused by the altercation or not, Jane Doe did not commit a crime. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. When Anita Grayson entered the Tim Hortons restaurant, she was looking to cause a scene. She became fixated on the 17-year-old employee and tried to intimidate her. When Jane Doe intervened to protect the younger employee, she became the new target of Anita's aggression. The act of violence that truly escalated the confrontation was the shove in the face delivered by Anita. The chaotic slapping attack Jane Doe launched in response did not represent the most appropriate course of action.
Yeah, it was
It
very
did not
bad.
qualify as an assault. The law does not require someone in Jane Doe's position to make perfect decisions during a sudden physical confrontation. Anita's decision to be aggressive is what directly or indirectly led to her death.
All right. Well, that's the end of this video. What are people's thoughts and opinions on this? Old people don't get mean. Mean people get old. Gave herself a heart attack over a donut SMH. So a mean person killed themselves with their own hate Jesus. She died on the floor. She died on the dirty floor of a Tim Hortons over a coffee order. What a legacy. I would be embarrassed if this was my mother. All right. So a lot of people are taking the the young employee's side. What do you guys think of this video? Do you guys think that maybe the young person could have handled it better, or do you think that the 75-year-old woman is completely in the wrong of this? Me personally, I feel like the old person's in the wrong too. Is very wrong because you can't just start an altercation and expect somebody, like do something about it. I'm not, and I'm not saying the young employee is very perfect either, but what can you? I mean, he was put in the moment. It was like at the moment. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.